Hello everyone, this is Space, and welcome back to Realism Overhaul Sandbox in Kerbal Space Program 1.12. We are back with the Scramjet Aerospike, the most highly developed Realism Overhaul spaceplane that I have. It is a very complicated spaceplane to deal with because it has three different kinds of engines. It's got the regular ramjets. I mean, I say regular, but even these have two modes, the jet mode and the ramjet mode. And then it's got the Scramjet, which also has two modes. And then it has the Aerospikes. And now I've added an extra configuration to the Aerospike, not a different mode. It is a different set configuration, a Tri-propellant configuration, so it doesn't switch on the fly between the hydrolox and the Tri-propellant. And I'm wondering whether having this configuration, which adds methane into the mix, so it's hydrogen, oxygen, methane, will help. And that's a good question. The Scramjet Aerospike is volume limited, right? It only has a certain amount of space for propellant, and we've been using it with hydrolox. Hydrogen is not very dense, and so if you add a denser fuel into the mix, the methane, there's a 50-50 mix between methane and hydrogen here. They have by mass. They have about the same mass of the two. The volume of the hydrogen is still way more. But if you add a denser fuel to it, you do get a little bit more thrust, but you lose specific impulse. The pure hydrolox has much better specific impulse than this one. And so the question is whether that's good at all or not, or whether it sucks. So that is what I'm going to test. But before I test that, I should practice flying the Scramjet Aerospike properly. I haven't flown it in a while. And now I also have the Firefly effects, so I wonder what those will do with the Scramspike. Let's see what happens. When we do change the configuration, because it's less efficient and the fuel is more dense, inevitably it's going to be heavier, so that's a whole other thing. It might not even be able to get off the ground for all I know. So we'll find out. So shuttle landing facility, nice long runway. Well, when I tried to bring it out without launch clamps, it flew all over the place, so launch clamps it is. This is a fairly heavy plane, and while it has a decent amount of wing, it's probably still very limited as far as that's concerned. I forget if I gave it any body lift at all. I don't know, it's not acting super great. I'm gonna go without the body flap. I don't know. Probably that's necessary for re-entry or something. Somewhere along the way that body flap is super helpful. But right now, I forget how to get this off the ground without it flying off. This is a crew-only vehicle. It can carry a little bit of cargo, but not a whole lot of cargo. It's basically meant to be a personal space luxury jet, if you will. Well, up it goes. We are close to the speed of sound. Right, just right past the speed of sound. Okay, switching mode on the jets. So now we're in ramjet mode, which causes a lot more fuel. Does provide more thrust though. We'll see when we start getting some heat. Gotta get the Scramjet information up to make sure it doesn't overheat. We've got an interstellar air intake in place of the regular one. I'm sure that doesn't cause any problems at all. Now, the Scramjet and the regular jet run on the hydrogen. So we always have to have a large surplus of hydrogen anyway. So the tri-propellant mode on the Aerospikes might not have as much effect as we would like, but eventually I actually don't want the Scramjet here because I have something else that I want to do with this. So it would be nice if we could get a lot more delta V out of the aerospikes. Well, we're nearly at Mach 5 and there's no crazy effects yet. Would there be if I tuned it up? If I added a, well, if I added a 0, yeah. $12,000 gives that much. Maybe for the Spaceplane, just a little bit. Extra for now. But let's see what it is like at default. We understand that we can pump it up a bit. Uh-oh. Oh no, 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 it went awry. Oh no, 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 no. That's bad for speed. Don't do that. Okay. I just wanted you to go up. Well, I think I'm gonna try the Scramjet. You're not accelerating that much. I probably should have gone to Mach 5 at a higher altitude, like 28 kilometers. But okay, opening the big intake. Well, I mean, we technically would have already had the big intake open, and we are getting that drag anyway. Okay, big intake, and you can see it didn't change any drag at all. Yep, it doesn't say anything else. Okay, Scramjet. Okay, shutting off the jets and the jet intakes. And I have to be very careful about the heating. You can see there is a heat indicator there. I'm going by the thrust. Mach 6 and heating. It's sort of important that this does not go down. Well, now we have the Firefly effects here at Mach 8. It is with the default number on Firefly. Now we've really got a Firefly. 94 on the heading, 10 on the pitch. We're pretty close to needing to go to rocket mode. There is the other mode on the Scramjet. Well, here at 42 kilometers, I'll try it once we get to Mach 10. But I think I've taken too long to get to this point, so we've used up too much of the hydrogen. Okay, there's the other mode on the Scramjet, which is a low efficiency mode, but higher thrust. I think honestly we should just pull up a whole lot and go into rocket mode sooner. Okay, shutting down the Scramjet now and closing the intake. Still makes that sound. Yeah, we don't have enough. So I didn't do that optimally, but we got to see how the Firefly effects work with it. That's what Firefly does with the Scramjet aerospike, but we're not getting to orbit like this. You have to use the Scramspike very efficiently, doing everything at the right time. So right now we're carrying way too much oxygen for it. But what I'd like to do is effectively simplify it a little bit, but also allow for the removal of the Scramjet, which will allow me to put something else there occupying that kind of mass. I have other plans. Of course, then it's not a Scramjet aerospike anymore. It's just an aerospike. Well, it's a jet aerospike. Jet spike? Or I could just call it the Aska Spaceplane, since that's why I named it in particular. But no more Firefly effects at this point. We're going very fast, 70 kilometers. So I think you would agree probably it'd be getting some effects. How much? Well, more than 8,000. Probably more than that. Maybe at least 16,000 here. Even 24,000 doesn't seem unreasonable or anything. So, yeah. Basically, we need a different kind of curve to the Firefly here. Otherwise, you're gonna have to keep switching numbers along the way. Tri-pop. I don't know if it's good to have 3 of those. We'll see. And we still need some propellant for the jet mode. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to occupy that volume by putting in kerosene. Let's change that up a bit. So remove the kerosene and make the rest of that hydrogen. Okay, same volume. It's going to be hard to figure out the delta V without just trying it out. So this time, no Scramjet. We're just going to go with the ramjets and then go to the aerospikes and then see if that works out. So, not Scramspike. Jet spike. Trijet? Trijet. Tri-prop ramjet. I don't know. Yeah. We'll just call it that for now. Tri-prop ramjet. Probably I should make it able to switch its mode along the way instead of having it be discrete, because maybe certain locations we might be able to get the methane, maybe we can't, and then it'd be nice to have the hydrolox mode as a backup. It is much, much heavier. Remember, the previous mass was 300 tons. This is 517 tons. How is it going to get off the ground? I don't know. Let's find out if it can get off the ground at all. Last time we lost the body flap anyway. I think I might need a bigger wing if we're gonna make this happen. Might want to scale up the Skylon canards too. Okay, we need to go up now. Can we? Oh, we lost a few things. I think we can't. We lost the Scramjet as well. I can't go up. I can't go up. Okay, so that's too heavy. We can't do that. 390 tons? Maybe. I mean, by the time we actually light the rocket engine... rocket engines, we'll have 6,200 to work with, maybe? Okay, let's see with 390 tons whether this can get off the ground. Body flap optional. Okay, here goes nothing. This could use a rocket sled, but I need actually a much smaller rocket sled for this. But it's an idea. I think we've got positive here. Okay, we managed it. So 390 basically the limit, and boy do we have to go fast to make that happen. Alright, it is climbing about 8 kilometers in altitude, close to the speed of sound. It's really limiting my ability to pitch up here as we go past the speed of sound. I guess I'll just let it naturally ascend again. This is not super efficient though. Atmospheric autopilot's holding my pitch there, but we do have a lot of angle of attack already. Yeah, I'm not too sure in this configuration this is as finely developed a spaceplane as the original version. It's struggling right now. It's past the speed of sound and everything, but it's only able to do that while still being under high dynamic pressure. We couldn't wait any longer to try and break the speed of sound. It would have been better to do it higher up, but it was having trouble getting higher up, so. Okay, past Mach 2. Okay, switching to ramjet mode. Well, it's not accelerating too much more now. I guess we'll give the Scramjet a little bit of a go. At least as long as we have what I think is a surplus of the hydrogen. Really, we don't have that much surplus of hydrogen left. Gotta toss on the rocket engines as well. Okay, shutting off the Scramjet. Yeah, we don't have enough. Well, let's see. Let's see what we have a surplus of right now. Tentatively speaking, I don't think going tri-propellant with this is any good. It's harder to get off the runway. I mean, maybe with the rocket sled, but yeah, I mean, tri-propellant was bad with the Shinkansen spaceplane because the Shinkansen is very volume constrained and it already uses methane oxygen, which is the denser one. The denser combo. It ends up being lighter when you change to tri-propellant, but it really didn't need that much more thrust to weight ratio. It needs more capacity for propellant, and that hurts in this case. The tri-propellant one doesn't help that situation much. The ISP isn't that good. Here, we would need the engines maybe producing an even better specific impulse than they do right now, and that's unlikely. The ramjet and the scramjet are sort of sized to the mass that we normally carry, but now it's heavier because we're using the less efficient fuel by throwing the methane in, and they're not meant for that, so they can't do as much as they did before, and that throws all the efficiency off. It really needs to be exactly where everything was at, and any hope that using tri-propellant actually helps the situation, I don't know. But it could be that we end up, well, I probably should have saved some more hydrogen. So we'll try one more time once I see how far off we are. It seems like we have carried too much oxygen here, or too much oxygen plus methane for the hydrogen that we have. But still, we're really, really far off. So I think I'll just go straight from ramjet to rocket and see how that goes. We're still gonna fit the scramjet. Alright, one more time. After that, I'll just conclude that maybe this is a wrong tree to bark up. Is that how it is? Anyway, yeah. I am barking up the wrong tree when it comes to this Tri-propellant thing with this particular jet, or maybe switching it midway would be better. That's a lot of modes to go through, but maybe that's the way to go. I'm not sure. Okay, just gonna try and go up right at the end here. Okay, I think we're okay here. But yeah, also rocket sled. Also rocket sled. But that'll take some doing. It has to be a completely resized rocket sled. You know, that thing was very specifically meant for the Orion carrier plane. It can do any other similar mass, but this is a very different mass. Okay, this time really no Scramjet. Okay, past 20 kilometers, switching to ramjet mode. Okay, had a bit of an issue, but I think it's time for rocket mode. Didn't get very fast this time though. Okay, jets off, jet intake off. 6,100 it says there right now. That's close. I mean, but we have to ascend and we're gonna lose some of that. Maybe it's in the realm of possibility, but it's tough. Then again, we are carrying the Scramjet mass and we're not planning to use the Scramjet. We didn't do it this time. So maybe we can trade off for some of that, plus the what you call it, rocket sled. Rocket sled could help. Why would we do this? Well, it would allow for more volume. In other words, we've reduced the amount of volume we're actually taking up with the propellant, so that means more free space. And if we don't use the Scramjet, then I can put something else down there. And in particular, I'm looking to put an ISRU unit, drills, and landing engines. Light landing engines. Not for something, not for a big place, not for Mars or anything. But some light landing engines down there. Okay, yep, we are not getting to orbit just yet. We're about 600 shy, 600 to 700 shy. Can I eke some more out? Do we need boosters? I mean, it defeats the SSTO purpose, but if we're gonna make this into a more far-reaching spacecraft, which is my intention, then maybe we'll just add boosters, throw it on the rocket sled, and call it a day. As long as we can launch it without the runway and using the rocket sled, we can probably add boosters. If we try to use the runway, I don't think we can add boosters. It just won't be able to get off the ground. It certainly can't get off the ground with more mass than it has right now. Dry mass, by the way, if you're wondering, is 75 tons. That's including some food, water, and oxygen, but that's not much. So basically, it's a 75-ton vessel here, and when we were on the ground on the runway, it was 390. So it's got a lot of dry mass, which it should, obviously. That's as expected. So I'm just saying that I'm not trying to cheat it in any way. I have not made it overly light, but we have some work to do. But then again, I do have the opportunity to change the Scramspike, I mean the Scramjet portion, into something else. So we'll see what I've got going here. For now, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do press like. If you have any comments or suggestions, please leave them in the comment section below, and I'll see you next time.